Well, hello.
Hello.
Hope everybody's doing well. Except looks like Bex is not doing so great because she just like sliced her finger.
You know what, Bex? You've earned your rest. You're a good mod. You deserve a night off. You can just
Yeah,
like,
rest
yeah,
the clicky finger.
that's right. There are other mods.
Mm-hmm.
You can
We
take a
got
break.
gardens in here too.
That's right. We've got a lot of champion mods in here. You can take a break.
God, and getting like cut in a tank, I would be like freaking out about all the bacteria in there too.
Yeah.
Not
Ugh.
to like worry you even more, but
Well, as long as
Bex, like
you
I'm sure you're disinfecting and all that.
just take a break. Take a break. Nano Aquarium guy says, "Yay, my plants are dry. Do your thing. We're gonna wet your plants. That's what we're gonna do."
Hope they're not too dry because some of them they dry up really quick and they don't come back from the brink.
There's some things we just can't help you come back from.
Like if you dried out your moss, I'm sorry, it's gone.
Actually, moss is one that you can maybe come back from. I
I've
mean,
never had it come back.
really?
It
Some mosses you can get pretty dry and they'll come back from, but other things, they're not coming back.
hmm.
Yeah.
Well, as we wait for people to file in, I want to show everybody this like really awesome pond. That's not mine, but it's yours.
It's fine. It's fine. It's multiple ponds. I've been very busy.
Yeah, you got yourself a an 6x2, right?
Yeah, 6x2 metal stock tank, and I painted it with Flex Seal
Look at that.
to keep it fish safe. So the back one is my pond I've always had, and then this one I think it's about 100 gallons. It's got 2 water lilies in it, a lotus, some cannas. There's bacopa in there, and so I just got some water hyacinth. I couldn't find it in Fort Wayne, but my friend got me some. And then look at my little frog. My pond friend gave me that this weekend, and I
Wow,
love him. He's so
that's awesome.
cute. So yeah,
Big
that's
frog.
my new pond. And then the back one, I planted the bog this year with hibiscus and calla lilies and spearwort. That's a new plant for me. It's a ranunculus. There are 2 lotuses that are still sprouting. That's why the interior of the pond looks pretty empty. And there's one water lily. So fun times. Yeah.
But in a couple of months, or even in a month, those lilies and lotuses, I imagine, are going to be all over the place.
Yeah, and one of the lilies already has a bud, so it's gonna bloom. I don't know, probably in a week or two. So I think by the second week of July, it should be just going crazy. I won't even see the water. Yeah. And then I don't know, Stephen, if I sent you the little tiny pond, I also set up a tiny pond.
A tiny pond. Did
Tiny
you send
pond.
me that?
Yeah, it's in Facebook. It's that tiny tub.
Tiny tub.
Yeah. So by the way, on my Instagram, I post pictures of it. So
So let's see,
that's
we got.
another view. That's the new pond before the frog. But all the plants I planted around it.
So you initially bought the 8-foot tub, and once you got it home, you realized I ain't got room for that.
I know my yard is so tiny, but if I wish I would have, I wish I'd had room for the 8-foot tub. I would have had a lot of fun with it. But that the 6-foot one fits there really perfectly. So I can't complain. So by the way, all those little pots hanging over it, those are just little hooks I bought from Amazon that hold a 6-inch pot. And they work really well on the inside to hang things into tubs too. If you put a 6-inch mesh pond basket in them, so you can grow plants inside your pond that way too, like marginals. And I think it works really good. Oh,
Hey, that's the
speaking of
bowl that I
bowl,
sent you.
yeah,
It's a little different
a little different.
looking from, yeah.
It's had some brooklification.
Has some brooklification. Well, in that I like overthought it and redid it a couple. Well, not redid it, but like definitely replanted it
Thank you,
a few times.
Fishymon. Thank you.
Brooklification for
Yep, that's
sure.
the beginning of the new pond. You can see how much those water lilies have already grown. Like they're
Yeah,
moving.
that was a nice view.
Yep.
Uh,
That's the view I have from my office. So I wanted it to be
oh,
really good. So I planted a lot of flowers around it. Because, so you can see those are the baskets. And I bought,
mhm.
I think I bought a total of 12 of those to use for planting. And I really like them. They're very handy. I think you could probably find them at Lowe's or something like that. So, and on that back fence, I planted a morning glory, which by the fall will just completely take over the back fence. And then Jake planted some dahlias in the yard too. My whole yard is like 15 feet by 15 feet. It's so, so tiny.
Morning glories are like an invasive plant around here.
Yeah, they're not here. They're not here. The frost kills them
Yeah.
back. So, you gotta keep going. There you can see
There
it.
it is.
Right, that's the tiny tub. But I did send him a little closer view of that. So that's a 20-gallon tub from Lowe's. That's the beginning of it. There you go. So that's a 20-gallon tub. There's a lily, a dwarf lily called Helvola. It's gonna have little tiny yellow flowers. And then there's a bowl lotus that's really tiny too, called spring cherry, which will have pink flowers. And then the immersed plant is a spearwort, which is a ranunculus. And then I use those hooks to for those 3 pots. That's just some calibrachoa, just kind of like a petunia.
Doing some outdoor ironing, are you?
Oh no, that's my little table. It's just a tiny. I only have room for a tiny table. But by the way, so that table is made of grate. And if you ever have to wash a ton of gravel, so I found that if you get some mesh strainers, or like I used mesh pond baskets that you could get from Lowe's for like $2, and you can put your gravel in batches. You never have to bend over. You just set it on the table, spray it with the hose, and then I moved it to the box of the pond. So I washed hundreds of pounds of gravel, never bent over. So that was really nice. So I highly recommend that as a method of washing gravel. Get some of those little baskets and a table with holes in it. Gotta bend. So yeah, we did all of our pond over Memorial Day, and then last weekend we did my friend's pond. We worked on his. So it's been 2 weekends of like intense pond work.
I'm looking at these pictures down here, and I see one that appears to be a sad lunch or dinner that you sent me. Can I show that one?
Sure.
What we got here?
Oh God, the world's saddest lunch. It's hazelnuts, snap peas, and a yogurt. Oh my God, it's so sad.
Are those snap peas even cooked?
No, God, I don't even like uncooked snap peas. They're just a food of sadness.
I didn't know you could eat them uncooked.
You can, but you regret it the whole time.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm a really good cook, but not for myself.
You didn't cook a damn thing in this
Not a
picture.
damn thing. Just put some stuff on a plate and cry.
I mean, I like hazelnuts. I like pretty much
hazelnuts
most nuts
in things, and I love snow peas in a stir fry,
Mhm.
but I really don't think they could taste. I don't like them raw. I like them at least blanched. And broccoli edamame would have been a lot tastier. I actually really like edamame. I should get some. So
Kind of rhymes with gourami.
That's right. Alshon, you're correct. Uncooked snap peas are gross.
Yeah.
Sad lunch. I'll probably have a really sad dinner too.
Well, I just don't understand when you're like, I don't even like snap peas. Like, why do you have half your plate full of them?
Because I wanted to get some vegetables in me. I had them. I wanted, just get some vegetables.
Yeah, I love edamame.
I love
It's
edamame
cooked too. Like,
It's cooked, right?
mm-hmm.
I don't even like raw vegetables. Just I'd eat something.
Raw carrots are okay.
Well, I don't like them. I like cooked carrots.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I cannot think of a vegetable that is better
Lettuce.
raw. Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, I
lettuce.
don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
lettuce.
And actually, spinach. I prefer spinach raw.
Hmm. I think I. Yeah. I guess I'm neutral on that.
Yeah.
Edie prefers most of her veggies raw. I think they're too much work to eat. Just faster to eat if they're cooked.
Well,
So. Well, anyways, that's the pond update. I've been very busy. I do put pictures of it on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram.
yep. You can see Pond and Fat Kitty.
That's right, and the other pets also.
It's a pet lab.
Annette
But I
says
mean, we all know Fat Kitty is the star of the Instagram.
it's true. He's got star power. Annette says I can eat the fresh plants in the refrigerator. I am so glad I got rid of all those pond plants in my fridge.
You're gonna make a salad.
Well, I mean,
It's either that or lose them at some point, right?
or like feed them to the bunny because like she'd probably eat them. Like especially those lotus roots, she'd eat them.
Hmm.
Fishymon asks if I dip the snap peas in the yogurt. I do not.
That might have improved them.
It might have improved them. You know, if I'd had some like tahini or some salad dressing for them, they might have been better. That was like I think that's the lowest point in meals. I think that's the lamest meal I've had in recent times.
I mean, it's better than a bag of chips, which I've been known to like lazily get for lunch or breakfast.
Yeah. I don't keep any junk food in the house, so that's why I end up with these lame meals. It's like I either cook something or I have something really lame.
Gardens did not know you have a bunny.
Oh my god, Gardens! I have tons of pictures of her on Instagram. Here's the deal with the bunny. She doesn't like Jake and I. She only likes the dog. So she is the dog's pet.
That's
She
funny.
will spend hours just licking and washing the dog. She loves her so much. And I have a great dog and she deserves a pet. So I can't begrudge her that, but she doesn't like Jake or I. She doesn't.
Cool. So we have a topic, don't we?
We do. We have a topic.
Maintaining aquatic plants. I mean, you don't necessarily have to. Oh, she didn't. God, Gardens, you were so behind.
Gardens, I have so many pets. I have
It's
3 cats,
Kelley
a
Pet
dog, and a
Lab. It's
bunny, and
not Kelley Fat Kitty Lab.
I know. And there's dog right down there. She's my best
Mhm.
friend. Fat Kitty just has the star power, but there are other pets.
So I imagine you've probably never kept a planted tank where you weren't doing regular plant maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I fall off the wagon. We all do. I mean,
Mhm.
lately I've been so busy with my ponds. I'm kind of doing every other week water changes, but
Yeah, but then you just increase the. Well, you already do pretty massive water changes anyway. So.
I'm stocked pretty heavy.
Mhm.
I guess I don't have like super heavy bioload fish. Rainbows are not like heavy. They're not like goldfish or plecos, but you know, they
Depends
like
on
clean
how
water.
much you feed them.
They like clean water. I don't think I feed my fish that heavy.
I mean, I feed 4 to 5 times a week. I'm not. I
Yeah.
do not feed daily, and like a lot, I've been getting lazy. Like there, if I'm streaming that evening, I probably am not feeding the fish.
Yeah. Alishon says no fish in ponds. I have some goldfish in my main pond. I don't have fish from my other ponds yet, so you
Rice
should
fish.
suggest me fish. I'm thinking of rice fish, but I'll take suggestions. Other people want me to breed rads. Fish
You'd
are
have to
not
bring the
really.
rads inside, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true. I kind of rather have something that I can keep outside.
Yeah.
I'm the fish aren't really a focus out there because in a month I won't even see them. They're kind of there to eat mosquito larvae,
Hmm.
which is that's a real problem. The mosquitoes are very thick in my neighborhood.
So, in terms of plant maintenance, then,
Right.
so you don't have a lot of stem plants, so we
No.
can start with so you have a lot of rosettes, and you've
Yes,
got the
I have a
lily
lot
in
of
there.
rosettes. I do kind of about once a month. I do one big plant pulling session where I clean up. I mean, because I have a lot of Cryptocorin spiralis, and it sends a lot of runners out.
Hmm.
So I have to pull all those, and every time I change the water, I do trim up my big swords, remove some of the outer leaves if they need it.
Hmm.
I'll remove kind of dead looking leaves. I definitely, this lily, every water change, I pull
That's
leaves
the
off
red
it.
Tiger Lotus, right? Back
Yeah,
there.
I always call them lilies because they're technically nymphaea. They're water lilies, so I always forget.
I know.
Yeah, but if I don't do that, it first of all, it will send up aerial leaves, and it just gets out of control. So that one, thankfully, it's extremely easy to trim. You can get that cleaned up in like 5 seconds. You just pull leaves from the base, throw them out, and done. And I'm pretty aggressive with that every water change, because otherwise it will take over the whole tank.
Yeah. So when you say take over the whole tank, you're talking like big, massive leaves that are gonna outcompete
Yeah, that,
other things
and
for
like
light.
it'll put out leaves everywhere. It also sends off runners, which
Hmm.
like I can see some. I thought I got all of them out last time I did my big cleanup, but no, there's some right there that I need to pull and give to someone, because this water lily is now 2 years old, so it's
Yep, that's how
big.
old mine is. And whenever I
Yeah,
rescaped the 40, I started with one bulb. Whenever I rescaped, I ended up with like four mother plants and like 20 something little bitty runners with a little bitty bulb on them. I
yeah,
gave like 90% of it to Brookley because they're so
yeah,
huge. I have no place for
so
them.
big. I don't think I would do that plant in a 40. I think it gets too big. I
It
think
takes
I
some
would do it.
maintenance, and
Yeah.
you have to kind of surround it with low light plants because yeah, like if you don't maintain it and you let it grow everywhere, then anything that needs some like a decent amount of light is gonna wither away.
Yeah. I
Um,
uh I think it just suits a bigger tank because of the scale of the leaves also. I think
yeah,
aesthetically it works better. But it's a great plant. I love it. It's worth the 5 seconds of work I do every
hmm,
water change. It's not that big of a deal. So I mean sometimes I'll do a water change without hardly doing any trimming or anything. It doesn't need it. So I just change the water, and then as I do, I take my hand and I swish, swish, swish around through all the leaves. Like I take the Java ferns and I really fluff them up to get any debris out of them.
yeah, and that's
Um,
important because
because mulm builds up, and that's organic waste, and organic waste leads to algae. More than anything else, organic waste leads to algae, I think.
yep, you
So
got
I
it
get
sitting
that
directly on the
cleaned.
leaves.
Yeah, so I get that cleaned up, and I keep a pre-filter, like the aquarium co-op pre-filter sponge. I have it. I trim it down a little bit size because I think it's a little too big personally. But I clean that every single week, or every time I change the water, which most of the year is every week. And I just rinse it under the tap. I'm not using it for biological filtration. I don't care. I just want it clean, and it makes a big difference in the lifetime of your filter.
Yeah,
So you can go a lot longer
because
between
if you
the.
got a canister, you don't want to be opening the canister just
No,
because it's full of debris that's clogging up the
right.
sponge.
And the thing is like I can't change an FX6 by myself. It's too heavy. So I have to do it when I have help. So it has to be
Mhm.
on a weekend when Jake and I can do it. And I like to do it when I can use the hose. So there's certain times of the year when, it's too cold here to use the outdoor hose. So that kind of anything I can do to prolong that filter, I do. And that's why someday I would like to have a sump, because I could do maintenance on that myself. Because I notice when I put off cleaning my filter too long. So in this tank behind me, I had a hair algae problem for months. I would remove it. I messed with light. I messed with fertilization. Blah 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 blah. I did all the things and cleaned my filter.
Mhm.
And it was cleared up in 2 weeks.
Yep.
I
What
mean,
kind of
some
a
do it.
filter do you have on the 40?
That's in Owaze.
So it's a good bit smaller, I assume, than the
Yeah,
FX.
but it's a 40, so it's not an
Hmm.
FX6. It's still pretty heavily filtered. I can't remember which Owaze I have, but it's still pretty highly filtered for the size. So I mean, I can do that one by myself, but it's still kind of heavy for me. So
Yeah.
I just would prefer to have help. So
So yeah, so basically cutting down on the organic waste in the water, whether it's on the plants in your filter, it's going to go a long way in preventing the
yeah,
algae. You want to
exactly.
control the fertilization
Yeah.
yourself as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, it's the number one thing that I suggest to people for getting their algae under control. Like if you already are using the right amount of light for your situation, I would fix it, clean your. I would work on your maintenance before I would go like experimenting with like maybe I need more iron, maybe I need more molybdenum. It's just not as important.
More what now?
Molybdenum.
The hell is that? Is that a thing? You just made that?
It's a very trace element.
Uh,
I don't know. I
is
don't
that
think
like unobtainium?
no, it's real. It's real. So, yeah, I do think it's very important. But that said, I'm not perfect. I slack on it too. That's why my tanks aren't like, you know, going in an aquascape show. They're not ADA tanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dee says she hooks a 25-foot piece of tubing and drain the FX6 completely. She removes the lines and it's not heavy since 90% of the water is out. That's very clever of you, Dee Dee. You're a very self-sufficient woman. I just wait till I help. I should do that though. I mean, I should.
I mean, Dee Dee's got a she shed. You know, she knows she's got to do that herself.
Dee Dee is
She's a
also she's very clever with DIY.
she is crafty, very
I'm not.
crafty.
I'm not crafty. Not with not with mechanical things. So,
Kyle said he prefers vibranium or adamantium. Which one is
okay.
stronger? The big debate, the big Marvel debate.
Molybdenum is a real element. It's just not that common. She's a crafty bitch. I always say that's a true statement, Dee Dee. You're a crafty bitch. It's true. What about
So
you?
if you let your tank get overgrown, like let's say you maintain the lilies, but like you just let your crypts just go haywire and your
Happens.
swords and do like what happens if you
Happens.
got a jungle?
Really what I see going on is like the runners from the Crypt spiralis. Think of it as like a way, way less aggressive Vallisneria.
Hmm.
So, and that's why I keep it. Val is just it's too much. It's too much. It's too aggressive. But it still does start invading. It's not the end of the world. I mean, the fish are happy. It's just certain plants will shade out other plants. Like especially this, the lily or the lotus, whatever you want to call it, will really shade out other plants and they won't grow as well. Um, you know, the other problem is if you have foregrounds, like I have Monte Carlo in this tank and I have the dwarf hairgrass in this tank. They when they're shaded, they do very poorly. They also have to be they do have to be trimmed, not super often. Probably every I don't know, like every month or so, I trim them. And if I don't, what happens is they die underneath and they're living on top and they start to float up. And then you have to rip the whole patch out and then divide it into little patches and replant it. And that's really annoying.
Yeah,
So I
so they
do trim
detach
it.
from the roots. What you're saying,
Yeah.
like everything that underneath
Mhm.
the top growth is
Mhm.
just
More,
deteriorates.
more so the Monte Carlo than the hairgrass. The hairgrass
Mm.
I find to be a lot lower maintenance. If you have like HC, Hemianthus callitrichoides,
That's
is,
baby tears or dwarf
yeah,
baby
that's an
tears.
even tinier Monte
Hmm.
Carlo. That's a little fussier. You have to trim that even more often. That's an even fussier plant. Partly why I don't grow it. It's too much work.
I'm still bitter about whatever fish in my 40 like uprooted that amazing mat of it that I had growing. It just one day decided I'm going to tear this apart, and then it was never the same. I gave up.
Bastards. Yeah. What about you, Steven? What do you do for maintenance?
Well, so of course I have a lot of stem plants, and so those are you got to stay on top of those because the obvious thing is if you let them, depending on how much light they require, if you let them get too tall, then the leaves underneath just fall off, wither away, and you've got what's called leggy stems, and they don't look so good,
Not good.
especially if you've got them not being hidden by something like a crypt or a sword or whatever, and you just see the long leg stem.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to do that every, I don't know, every few trims. Instead of just like replanting the tops, I will actually pull out all of the rooted stems at the bottom and shift those around. Sometimes I'll move those to the plant farm or some other tank, just because those they seem to get a little exhausted from growing and regrowing. Like they start losing leaves. I don't know what that's
Mhm.
about.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard that too. They just,
Yeah. So yeah, it takes some work, especially when you have injected CO2 and the stems are just
yeah.
growing like crazy. You gotta stay on top of them if you want them to maintain that beautiful bushy look.
Yeah, and professional aquascapers, the ones who are serious
Hmm.
about contests, if they have stems, they're trimming them twice a week to get them, the bushy effects looking really good.
Yeah,
Um,
like when you first get them started, you let them grow for a couple of weeks, and then you trim them really, really low,
yep.
as low like to the point where they're going to be visible, and then they grow from there.
Yeah, and then you plant the tops in front and you try to get kind of like a stair stepped effect so it looks
Yeah.
like a really nice bush. And there's a real art to that.
It's difficult, and
Yeah.
I don't keep up with that. I don't like what I'm thinking is the new scape that Brookley did for me. Whenever we get around to making that video and I actually like present the scape, I'll probably painstakingly do that just for
Yeah.
that photo, which is I believe what those pro aquascapers do. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
not looking
they
like that
do.
99% of the time, but
It's a different hobby. I
it
mean,
is.
those pro aquascapers, they have 1 to 2 tanks at a time and they rescape every, I don't know, 4 to 6 months. And that's their hobby is rescaping and redoing it. And it's just a different way to do your hobby. It's different from what I do. This has been going almost 2 years.
Mhm.
This one has been going over a year. And I just like mine to be sustainable for a really long time. But the sacrifice is that I'm never going to have beautifully manicured stems because at a certain point you just have to rip them out and replant them. And I
So,
don't.
what is your threshold for trimming a leaf off of, say, a crypt or a sword or even like Anubias?
I mean, if
Like,
it's
how bad does it have to look?
I don't know. I mean, I just do kind of a general cleanup of what looks bad. Just pull them out with my fingers. I mean, if a leaf looks bad at all, you might as well pull it. I mean, because that way the plant will invest energy into a better leaf. So there's no
Yeah.
need to hang on to it. Like I just went outside to my pond and I pulled off all the pads of the water lilies that were looking kind of gross
Mm.
because, you don't need to hang on to them. So,
Eric,
Eric, you nice man.
there he is. Plants.
He's excited.
You know
We're
what?
all
I'm excited
excited.
too. Thank you, Eric.
Eric, you're so nice. So that's going to help with Steven's kids through college.
And we got to worry about Fat Kitty.
Fat Kitty, oh God, he needs to go to
He
college.
needs all the education.
He does. I mean, I don't know how he's going to stay awake for it. He's still not awake, Annette. He's still asleep. If you want to see him, I have to go wake him up. Oh, June. Oh,
Wait, are you not allowed to cuss in a super chat?
you're not. I've tried.
Oh, well, that is fucking disappointing.
It is fucking disappointing, June.
Well, okay,
You're
well,
an old
I'm gonna read it
lazy
the way she intended.
bitch.
June, thank you for the super chat. I'm an old lazy bitch. Can't say
Love
dick.
it.
No, I guess you can't.
Love it.
Thank you,
Love
June.
it.
Yeah, I guess that would be, I don't know, like a loophole. If you could cuss in a super chat, you can just
Wouldn't it
say
be
whatever
great?
you want to somebody as
It's like
long as
I
you
paid
pay them.
for this privilege. Yeah. I mean, I do think that the way I've kind of a hybrid approach between high and low maintenance. I do use CO2. That does speed the game up.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of tanks. I keep I don't keep any stems. You know,
Well, I
it's
do have a lot of tanks,
yeah,
but there's only a select few of them that I keep in the way that you keep yours,
right.
and the rest of them, they're all planted, but like there's some really leggy stems in there. There's algae.
And if
There's Vallisneria growing all the way across the tank, and I don't care. Just
right.
whatever it wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like if you have a breeding tank, it's
Hmm.
kind of a different game. I mean, you just you have to prioritize the time you have.
Yeah.
None of us have 40 hours a day, so
Hmm.
you know you can only do what you can do. And lately, I've been outside at my pond, spending a lot of my time and energy. But soon it's gonna get super hot here, and come back here and work on these. So, you know.
So, have you found that as you trim the red Tiger Lotus leaves, do you make sure that you trim them before they reach the top? And if you do, does that train them not to go to the top?
Yes, yes, this one never does. It never
So,
does
I
because I
found that works with the Lotus. I cannot like I've had the what's it called, the I guess dwarf aquarium lily, the other
right,
nymphaea.
yeah, the one with kind of like the spade
Yeah,
shaped leaves.
that
Yeah,
one just does whatever it wants.
I've never had that one, so I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
You should plant that one out. Well, you don't have any sunlight. Never mind.
I don't
Mhm.
have sunlight. I've got trees, trees and
Trees
trees.
are beautiful in their own way, and you
Yep.
don't like being hot, so they shade your house. So that's good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Trim plants, is that when I remove the dead stuff? Well, you definitely got to do that too, because you start seeing those dead leaves that have detached and like melted, floating
Yeah,
around. That's just more dissolved organics.
especially in your Java ferns. Like I feel like I really have to swish up my Java ferns because like food gets caught in there and
Yeah,
junk, and I just kind of pick through them a little bit. I
I'm a
don't go
fan of the turkey
crazy though.
baster, like just like
Yeah, I
blasting
like
every.
turkey basters for small tanks. I started using one of my 10-gallon and I really like it. Part of that, so the reason why I'm getting so much algae in this little 10-gallon I have that I never show anyone because I hate that tank is the spider wood. Just degrading.
Oh, is it growing the big like the nasty biofilm on the
No,
outside,
it's
or
not. You can see the wood disintegrate. Like,
why is it doing that?
I don't know, but I'm probably gonna massively rescape it. Unfortunately, I have a ton of like boost and Anubias glued to it, which so I'm gonna have to just cut it out and then do something
Uh,
else. I like the rocks I have in it. It was a really good hardscape between the wood and the rocks, but that spider wood is just garbage. It's just
I mean, I have spider wood. I've never. I mean,
I know.
with the spider wood that I have, it will get brittle after a while. Like
Let's
I had a spider wood bonsai that started to break apart, but not actually like disintegrate like you're
let's
describing.
let's put it this way. For a while I had nothing in that tank but snails. I mean, so and not mystery snails, so very low bio load.
Hmm.
And the hang on back sponge in there would be black
Yeah.
every week. And like you can see the mold piling up in the corners from it. And that's why I have algae in there. It's like it's hard to keep it clean.
Yeah. Well, what in the heck is causing that?
Spiderwood.
It's just why? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I got spiderwood that wasn't spiderwood.
Yeah.
I
Does
got it
somebody in
off.
chat know what the hell's going on? Because I've never seen that happen.
I don't know. I got it on Amazon, and I've had other wood, not spider wood. I bought other wood from pet stores before, like bigger pieces of like supposedly Montani wood that has degraded on me, and it's like a major cause of algae. In this tank, I have manzanita wood, and it's fine. It's been no problem. So if I do get wood for that, I'd probably get manzanita wood. I don't know, or maybe I'll just use rock. I do like rock work, but I bought all of those boosts and Anubias for the scape for it. But maybe I'll just scape it some other way. Maybe I'll just have Brooklyn come scape it.
Yep. You could hire Brooklyn, fly her out there.
She could make me lunch. I mean, I need the help. Fat Kitty could use someone rubbing his belly. I mean, I could use the help. So yeah, that tank it's algified, and I know why. So I know why. Yeah.
June, it would be a lot of money to get spiderwood for a 300-gallon for sure.
You know, I wouldn't, June. I wouldn't get spiderwood. I would get bigger wood because I think that the scale of wood should match the scale of the tank. I think you should use thicker wood, like Montani wood, or manzanita is not too expensive, or maybe fine driftwood from a lake that you like, or the ocean. That might be a better choice. Also, those are free choices. I mean, Rico gets great looking wood from the lakeshore, and I know people who live along the beach do. So I just think bigger wood would look better. Oh, June, amen, girlfriend. Me too.
So on that note, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. I did see earlier that Bunny Viper has a question. Ivy, she wanted to know she can't plant her pond plants yet because it's raining too much. Just keep them in your fridge. They'll be fine. Just if maybe take them out and rinse them in the sink in case they got a little gross, like it because it got hot. You know, even though I tried to pack them well. And then just repack them in moist paper towels, put them in your fridge. They'll be fine. I keep my stuff in the fridge all the time. And then Annette makes fun of me. So, you know, but it works. You can also
just don't confuse it for salad things. I mean, I guess some of them are edible.
Don't accidentally feed it to your bunny. Don't set like a gallon of milk on it and squish it. So just gotta be a little careful. You can plant it if you want indoors, you know, in the buckets. But I think you're gonna plant them directly maybe in your pond because Bunny Viper has a massive cow pond. So she might just let her stuff go wild and free. And it'll probably look really good.
For a long time, for sure.
Yeah, that'll look good. So other questions? Should we scroll back, Steven? You're in charge. I'm
in charge. That's not
good. I'm not good at managing the chat. I'm really just here to entertain people.
You know, I'm not even seeing no questions. I guess.
No. Brooklyn, you love scaping and you're so good at it. You're so good at it.
She loves scaping so much that she will scape the same tank over and over.
Wow. I think that's good to know that it was still cool for you because I know that Joe Stan's was not, but his had to go to Central Texas and Dee Dee's was not, but hers took an extra day and it had to go to South Carolina. So, I mean, I did what I could, but.
What kind of cool pack did you use?
So I got these. I got them on Amazon. I'll send you the link. They're pretty cheap. They're called dry ice packs. They're not dry ice, but they have like those that gel matrix that if you soak it in water, it expands. And then you just throw them in the freezer. They're very cheap
Mm.
and they're just ice packs. So you can cut them into different size sheets too, so you can put different sizes of packs in different plants. And then I got those like little grocery store lunch bags that I use. I think they helped. So, you know. So Fishymon says, I recently got a Taiwan lily. You think I can make it bushy by trimming? No, because I think Taiwan lily, isn't that the kind you have, Stephen? It's the kind that's
Um,
wild and free.
yeah, I mean it just kind of does whatever it wants. It doesn't like sprout more leaves. It just will sprout another one and it'll grow until it finds a point where it can get some light.
So
And the less you maintain it, the more you get top leaves.
yeah, I think that plant would look really good in one of those like shallow low boy aquariums where you would just let it do what it does and then you could see it bloom. It has a very
Yeah.
beautiful kind of large white flower. It's nice. Geek Boy asks to see the cold packs, and I will. I'll get Steven the link for them, and he can. Where would you post? You could maybe post it in your
Uh,
community tab.
yeah, if everyone wants to see it, I could just send it to them in
Oh, yeah, we do that.
Discord or whatever, like.
Steven will make it available to the
Mhm.
public. So
Let's
they're
see,
very cheap though.
Lady Diane. Yes, the whole P family will be going to the Quad Crown, and so will Kelley.
Working on it. Working on it.
Mm,
Working on it.
mm,
Working on it. Working on it. Working on it.
mm.
My sister is coming. Uh, Not this weekend, but next weekend. She's
You
got
are
like
an
a bunch
independent
of birthday.
contractor. You will take the time off.
I am about at the end of one of my contracts. Hallelujah. I am tired of billing 80 or 90 hours a week.
Mhm.
Whew. So I saw a question. Let's see up above. Joe Stan said that he has parked his plants in a sunny aquarium. Totally fine. You can do that too. You could use a bucket if you want. The fridge. I mean, the bucket will give them a little head start, if
Yeah.
you want to do that. So that's fine too. I just keep them in the fridge because, what if I want a salad for a sad lunch? So Steven can make fun of me. So,
Toss it with some vinaigrette, and you don't know the difference.
so
Maybe a very colorful, expensive salad. I mean, that would actually be a very fancy lunch if it were
it would be, and
tasted good.
you can eat lotus roots. I mean, you can go to the Asian grocery store and get them. They actually, eventually they get really big around like that, and they have
Mhm.
hollow cavities on the inside. I mean, it's okay. I think it's a little bit woody. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of lotus roots, but it's a vegetable people have been eating for thousands of years. So, Steven, you're a better person to ask than me. I don't really keep pearlweed much.
Yeah, I mean, pearlweed is a stem plant, and so same principle. If you let it get too tall, it will get leggy on the bottom, and it's a lot like Monte Carlo in that if, like, I grow a very dense carpet of it in one of my betta tanks, and if I let it get too tall and too dense, then the stems and the roots underneath will deteriorate, and then it'll kind of be loose from the substrate. So, and I don't like the way you would trim a stem plant, cut it right above the one of the nodes. I don't do that with pearlweed because there's too much of it. I'm not going to be that meticulous. I get my 90-degree scissors and just go across the top and shape it however I want. I don't pay attention to where I'm trimming it, and it always comes back.
I've seen people shape that into nice little bushes for their midground. I think that looks really cool. I think that's easier to maintain than trying it as a foreground.
Yeah, I have it as a foreground in a CO2 planted betta tank, and I got it, once a week or every 2 weeks. I'll just like buzz across, and It's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oop, chat
So
went jumpy jump.
Bex has a question I saw. I don't know if there's one before that.
Like, have you looked? Oh, SR Aquaristics. They've got great wood. Okay, yeah, I have the SR Aquaristic regulator that
Oh,
I got from Alcon.
I have never looked at SR Aquaristic. I will have to check that out.
Well, it's
Wow.
my favorite one that I have. Like, I've got all the cheap
Wow.
F zones and they're okay. I've got the CO2 art for 150 and I like that one a lot. And then I've got the SR Aquaristic and that one is by far my favorite. It's $200.
Yeah. I think I got my Manzanita wood from like Manzanita Direct maybe or manzanitawood.com, I think. I can't remember, but I did like it because it was what you see is what you get. So I could pick out some really big pieces that you can't even see now for this tank. Um, I'll have to check them out, buddy. So how do I feel about Cryptspiralis for a marine land 5-gallon portrait tank? How tall is that tank, Stephen? Do you know?
Um, I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact dimension. I will say that she doesn't have the original pathetic light that it came with. So,
Right. I'm
because,
not
yeah, I mean,
concerned about the intensity of the light so much. It's a crypt, it'll be fine. But it gets pretty tall. It gets like, like 2, 3 feet tall. Well, maybe not 3 feet tall, but like 2 feet tall. Like it's really nice in a 90 because it reaches the top and then even bends over a bit. So
it
it
is
might
17 inches tall, according to Amazon.
hmm, it might be okay. I mean, what's the worst that happens if it gets too tall? You just pull it. I mean, and it
Mm,
will bend over the top. I mean, you could try it. I really like Cryptspiralis because I like the look of Vallisneria, but I don't want to maintain something that aggressive.
yeah.
So I like Cryptspiralis. It's something I like quite a bit. Give it a shot.
Yep,
It's a
I
nice
agree.
plant. If you don't
I
like
think it'll
it,
look nice.
put it somewhere else. It's I think it's worth a shot.
Alishon, thoughts on tissue culture plants? At a Jen Williams demo on Friday night, she thinks they're great. Picked up a tissue culture pack of Cryptophanes red. Tissue cultures of crypts, I love them. Like I've had, so I'm a big fan of tissue cultures now. I used to kind of shy away from them. I used to think it was a lot of work to get them to convert, but in reality, they're nice plants. Some of them just don't do well for me, but then other ones are amazing, and they're definitely a great
Yeah.
value for
Oh yeah,
your
for sure.
dollar. So like recently, so you sent me that Laganandra Meboldi, whatever it was. It's
Right.
gone. It's gone.
Happens. But you know
Uh,
what? Maybe it, the bigger one may have been gone too. I mean, it just I don't know. Sometimes
mhm,
plants don't work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I got the mini variety of dwarf hairgrass tissue culture, as well as like the same species, but like the non-mini. And the mini stuff in 24 hours turned white and disappeared. The other stuff is doing okay. Well, that's not Fat Kitty, but that
No,
is a
this is an
largish kitty.
elusive sighting. This is Big Kitty. Look how fluffy he is. I mean, look at his belly. So fluffy. But he's not fat. He's big. He's a
Yep,
big dude.
just large, fluffy cat.
He's got very big head, very big feet. Oh, good critter. But Fat Kitty is still asleep.
So
So
yeah, I look for tissue cultures now as like by default for most things, unless I've heard that like famously a tissue culture is just bad of a particular
yeah,
plant. I because you get so much of it.
such a good value.
Yeah,
I like tissue culture plants. I really, especially like them for foregrounds. I hate foreground plants in the rock wool pots because then you have to pull all that stuff
ugh,
on them and you just get so much more for your money. And I think they do better. I think they melt back less. So I'm a huge fan of them for that. For crypts, I've used them successfully. I've also used them unsuccessfully. I think that if you plant them in a part of your tank where you can kind of keep track of them and then move them is a good deal. Otherwise, they can sometimes get lost in the shuffle, especially in a mature tank. Like if I were to put tissue culture plants in this crypt, I would probably just lose them.
Speaking of which, I need to send you some swords because they're getting out of hand. Like
Right.
they're blocking a lot of shit in that tank now.
That's why I sent them to Stephen for his plant farm, because first of all, I only need like one. I don't need, but a tissue culture pot will have like 4 swords in them.
They each came with 5.
5, and I only need one because swords get really big.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have tried to plant a sword in this, it just would have been lost. But if you have a brand new tank that you're setting up, I think they do really well, and I think they're great value. And
You just got to be patient. You know, you're not going to
I love
start off with
foreground.
a dense planted tank.
Yeah, and foregrounds, like I think you can be less patient because I think they do better. So
I mean, the UNS tissue culture cup of S Repens is you get like 100 stems of it. I swear it's it's a big bunch pack of it, and I got I almost filled out the whole 40 just with that.
I found an old forum thread from George Farmer where he scaped. I can't remember the size of tank, but I think it was about like a 20 long. It was a metric size, so I can't remember. It wasn't exactly 20 long, but he did it with one tissue culture pot of Monte Carlo. So it was spread real thin, but he got there. And I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I think that was more of an experiment. He wouldn't usually do that, but it just goes to show like how much you get in those tissue culture pots. They're such a good value.
Awesome, Diane. I can't wait to meet you.
Oh, I'm trying, Lady Diane. I'm trying because I want to.
You'll be there. Kelly's gonna be there too. We'll all get together, go have lunch.
Make it happen.
Kelley and Jake, me and Jenna and the kids and Lady Diane.
It would be pretty good. It would be good. I'm gonna work on it. So,
let's see.
Other questions?
Hi, Jess. Let's see. The portrait is 14 inches tall. Yeah, I think the dimensions that I gave include like the little mini stand that it comes on that sort of elevates it.
You know, I might try another crypt because I even think like these Hutteroid crypts get pretty tall. So this is a 40 gallon, and the Hutteroid crypts are the dark ones in the center, and they're about, I think, kind of tall. I don't know. You could try it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try it.
Yeah, help for I had some problems with that one too.
Yeah, I mean, they don't always work. So
oh yeah,
I've had some crypts just melt back on me, and I never found them again. But I think they just got lost in the shuffle.
Could be.
Bring one of those swords to me. Brookley, you can definitely have one of those swords.
Mm-hmm.
I only need
one. Yeah, Brookley, you need CO2 for the Hell for Ride, and you need highlight.
Yeah.
It'll work in your. It's gonna work in your 40 when you get CO2 in the 40. And
yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. If the plant was gonna die, the plant was gonna die. I mean, like if I were to get Tonina in a tissue culture, it's gonna die because I'd need really soft water for that. So.
All right, Bex, baby steps, okay?
Yeah, I don't think the clash is gonna happen.
Because you already get to meet Kelley in July, right?
That's true. That one is definitely happening. That's happening, Bex. I'm gonna book my Airbnb and let you know about it soon. I need to do that. I'm making time. So, but no, those tickets are bought, so we're going.
All right.
Other questions?
DD2 is recent fan of tissue cultures.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that like Corey doesn't like them, and he has reasons for not liking them because maybe he gets a lot of newbie customers who don't know how to deal with them, and it's just too much customer service to deal with them. And I get that. So, but I I think they're pretty great. So, type of moss would have the highest chance of survival in the water? Steve and I don't think any moss is particularly fussy about
It's
water.
all about the source of the
Flow.
moss. Like
Yeah,
technically, whatever moss I give her, I mean, it's like I have moss in the mosh pit now, but the mosh pit has a lot of hair algae, so there's hair algae in the moss. So that's not the kind of
right,
moss that I would be giving away to other people. But it
right.
still looks good. There's just if you
Yeah,
pick it up and tear it apart, you know that there's hair algae growing throughout it.
yeah. I think tissue culture moss, I think is probably also a good deal because it's very clean.
Hmm.
I think all mosses kind of grow like mosses. I'm not a huge fan of mosses, but I think all mosses kind of grow with the same conditions. They like a little bit less light. So don't put them in like a blasting part of your tank. Put them in a more shaded part, kind of like a Nubius. And they love flow because they don't want to be clogged with debris that gives them that kind of attracts
Yeah.
algae to them. They also really like shrimp to groom them.
Yep.
So any kind of shrimp, Amano, Neocaridina, any kind of shrimp to groom them.
Just not scuds, because scuds will strip them bare.
Huh. See, I've never had scuds, so I can't say that, but that does make sense. They're small. They eat small things. But shrimp and moss are a good fit. If Halphorite can be grown on driftwood, I've never seen that fishy mon. So the one that people grow on driftwood is, what am I thinking of, Stephen? It's the one that's reddish.
Um.
All the aquascapers love it.
Oh. Oh. Penitafida.
Yes,
I
Hierophila
Why
pentativida.
was I blanking on that when literally I have that all over my 40 breeder aquascape right now, and it does
Yeah,
look amazing. I love
it
it.
does. So that one people grow on it. Monte Carlo people grow on wood, but I have never seen anyone grow Hellfry on wood. You could try it. I
It
would glue it.
it's kind of fussy.
It's a fussy
It
plant.
needs to eat, and root feeding, like it will grow some very nice dense roots, and I think it prefers to be in the substrate.
Yeah. Also,
I
doesn't
haven't
that
tried it on
plant
wood.
kind of need CO2?
It not kinda, it absolutely needs
Yeah,
CO2.
that's what I thought. I mean, Fishymon has pretty soft water, so he can get away with some things,
Yeah, he might be able to keep it alive.
but it's
And
probably not going to thrive.
it grows slow as it is, even with CO2.
Yeah. I have I ever grown that plant?
Man, and I really would
Maybe
love it
I
in my
did
40, but
I might
either
have
the
15 years ago when I went through a
uh,
stem phase.
but it's like it has like soft and I guess very delicious leaves because something in my
Mm.
40-gallon will
Oh,
not
that's
stop
the other
eating it.
thing. I bet your plecos would munch it because Fishymon loves plecos. So that,
Plecos, maybe the autos, maybe the rainbows. I don't have plecos in the 40 anymore. After we rescaped
yeah.
it, I took that one pleco remaining. I was like, all right, it's time for you to get out of here.
But Fishymon has plecos in all his tanks, I think, because he
Yeah,
loves
probably.
plecos. So I don't know. I don't know if you and that plant are destined to be together.
Um, so how do you plant tissue cultures when they have such short roots? It can be difficult.
It can be difficult. I just shove them into the substrate with my tweezers, so only a little bit is showing. You can hold things
Plant
down with a glass
weights.
plate for Monte Carlo.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
For
To
this one, for the hair grass, so I did, this was a tissue culture lawn. Um, a lot of it kind of floated away, but I planted it so heavy that once it got going, it was enough. So I kind of just overcompensated by planting a ton of it in that case.
mm,
But I've started using a finer substrate. I've started using that UNS
contraflow.
Contrasoil Fine. I think it's a little easier to plant in than the Fluval Stratum. That helps. But really just got to shove it down in there. And it takes practice to use those tweezers. Oh,
We are out of time. Can you believe it?
yeah. I did see Window Liquor had Question: can you roll up hair algae and turn it into a moss thing, or will it always go stringy? Depends on the kind of moss. If it's cladophora, maybe, but if it's regular hair algae, no. I think it's always gonna look gross because it's always gonna wanna puff out.
Yeah, well, see, cladophora, you can roll it up into a ball, and then you can sell it as Marimo moss, and like really screw people over when it invades their tank, and you can never get rid of it.
You can.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people that they've had to just completely nuke systems just with bleach to kill it. I don't know if I've ever had a cladophora algae attack. That
the
may be the one
The
kind
good
of
thing
algae.
about it though is that it doesn't look bad. It's growing on the wood and it looks natural, and so I just kind of keep it at bay.
Yeah.
Like just keep it there. All right. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by.
Thank
If we missed a
you.
question, ask it in the comment. We always monitor the comments.
Yeah.
And
Thank
we're gonna
you.
head over to Fantastic Freaks. Austin should
Yeah.
be.
Thank you, mods. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And have a great week.
Thanks everybody.